Well, here we are. I had a 2007 Harley Davidson. It's a touring bike. Got about just about 90,000 miles on it. It's been down once or twice. Anyway, 90,000 miles is a lot of miles, and I don't know, I'd say over the last 10,000 miles it started giving me problems when I go to start it. Seems to always fire up. But say like I hop on it and I ride it down to the hardware store, maybe 6 blocks away, come back with some, a couple bolts or something, a couple nuts or washers, and I get on it there at the hardware store, and it kind of wants to cough and spit and chug and puke, and eventually it starts. It's kind of embarrassing though, honestly. I wouldn't say that it's gotten worse, but it's gotten, in fact, I went to Sturgis last summer and it didn't bother me at all. It didn't seem to hiccup at all. But then after I got home, it's back to the same old thing. And then about 2 months ago, again, I went down to the hardware store, came back out, it would not start. In fact, it was going clankety clank. It sounded like the starter was really, I don't know. Take a look at the starter. I'm not sure about those teeth, but it was grinding. And anyway, a lot of people say that these compensators are the problem. I don't know. That's what it looks like on the outside. You've got this spring pack that goes up on the inside. A lot of people say that these are piles of shite. The stock ones are just no good. They say that, get a Screaming Eagle, get an OEM Screaming Eagle part from Harley Davidson for around $400, $450. That'll cure your ills. This one here is an illegal, not a Screaming Eagle, but an illegal. Anyway, I'm not exactly a rich guy. In fact, a couple things I want to point out to you on how I'm trying to go about saving money on this go around. I went and got this is a Drag Specialties solid sprocket compensator kit. Some people call it an eliminator kit or a delete kit. Now right here it says Softail and Dyna for 07 through 017, but they assure me, it's on my packing slip, it says for an Ultra. It says it'll work for an Ultra, and it seems to mount just fine. It's got directions for 2006 to 2010 bikes, and then it's got directions for 2010 to present. So, got to read the directions carefully, because along with the 34 tooth sprocket, see, I've had it in, I've test fitted it. It seems to fit just fine. Along with the sprocket, it comes with these 2 washers and a bolt. This is a number 70 Torx bolt. And I had to go down to the hardware store, or the auto parts, bought me a number 70 star bit for that today. I already have the Screaming Eagle. I got the Screaming Eagle part for loosening and tightening that bolt along with the clutch. Now, years ago I had to buy this special socket too. For those of you who are curious, it is a 1 3/16. That's a 13/16. You'll need that one too. So there's the clutch. This is reverse thread. It's just a cheap pair of snap ring pliers, but you'll need some snap ring pliers. I've got red Loctite and blue Loctite. The red goes on this, even though it came from the factory with blue. And the blue you put on here. The directions here say 140 to 165 foot-pounds. That's for the sprocket, and then it says to follow the directions in the manual for the rest of it. Okay, that's fine. So anyway, it's kind of what I've been up to. I wanted to show you a few things, though. I said I was going to try and save some money on this, so I'm going to reuse this gasket. The gasket's about $35, $40. I went and got me some gasket sealant for $6.99. I'm going to use some gasoline and clean out my primary cover. Nothing wrong with the chain, nothing wrong with the clutch. In fact, I got a Screaming Eagle clutch and pressure plate. A lot of people say that these are pieces of crap. It's got 90,000 miles on it. Sure, there's a little bit of wear, but not bad. And you can see where the adjustment is on those little serrations. It's just like the ones, it's just like all the others I've seen. So it really hasn't worn much. The chain, and that tells me that the chain is not that worn out either. This is my stock adjuster. And notice I've got the little wrap on it. I'll just say, do not lose this piece because it wants to disappear on you. It's a very special water. See the shoulder on it? It's a very special spacer. Do not lose it. You can watch the other videos on how to put this on. It's real important to have this on there, otherwise you'll never get it in there. Keep it locked down, and that way you can mount it, and you'll pull this out of the way. I've done this once before, but not first time for the Compensator. Again, I was telling you I'm trying to save money. So I've got here, check this out. Check this out. Hang on. I'll get them all in an order here. It says you need, if you're going to take your primary cover off, then you need 45 ounces of oil to put back in. Well, I don't have 40 ounces of any one kind, but I've got 4 different kinds of oil. I've got the Lucas oil, synthetic 2050. I've got the Drag Specialty primary oil, but I've only got, 12 ounces. I've got the Harley Davidson, but I've only got 24 ounces. And then I got some Mobil 1 V-Twin, but I've only got about 16 ounces, if that, 14 ounces. So what I'm going to do is, this is a full quart. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to just kind of make me a custom blend. I've used all this oil for my bike, so all of it's good. I'm just going to blend it together, and come on, people, that's all these are blends. These are different oils, different additives, and they blend them together. These are all good for my particular motorcycle, but I'm going to make my own blend. And like I said, I'm going to try and save a few bucks. If my primary leaks, well, then I'll buy a gasket on the next change. Whenever I park it in the garage, if it leaks, I'll put this oil pan down, and we're good. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to show you before we get going here, my clutch, the hub, look at the teeth. Can you see it? Let me get a flashlight. Hang on. Let me get a flashlight. don't know if you can even see them. You see the teeth on the inside there? The top of the teeth there are kind of chewed up, and that's all the way around. Now it's not a new hub, but I replaced that hub at about 50,000 miles. I replaced it just before my trip to Daytona. That was in 2013. So that's not a new hub, but it's kind of a, well, let's just call it a used hub. The original one was way worse than that, and this one's doing it again. And I'm thinking, I'm not kidding you, that what I'm thinking is Harley Davidson. I mean, look at this. What would cause that to happen? But you know, your clutch hub is pressed all the way up against this, and it's torqued down. You know, everything is bolted down and it's torqued here, but it's torqued right up against that bearing. Well, what's in the middle there? It's those splines, and you can see the radius. Look at the radius on that spline. All I can think of is that radius is kind of gouging into those splines and tearing them up. I don't know. Does it look like those splines are worn there? Maybe they are worn. Maybe they're chattering a little bit, you know. In fact, I wouldn't doubt if they are chattering a little bit. But anyway, one of the things, these springs, the spring pack on the compensator, the directions say to take some vice grips and bend that, and these springs will come out of there. I didn't have to do that. I just kind of took a big screwdriver club, and I got in there and just kind of pried them out of there, and they popped right out. So that's no big deal. It says you're supposed to pull this rotor out, where on my bike you can't just pull the rotor off the. You have to take the whole inner primary off. The rotor, when you pull it, well, hang on. Okay. When you got the rotor off, look at how tight it is down here. And right down here, it comes up against this outer primary, and that's as far as it goes. So in order to get that rotor off, you got to take the whole inner primary off, and that means these bolts. That means, you know, new gasket, new inner primary gasket. Like I said, I'm trying to save money. Pay me now or pay me later. I'll be paying you later. Anyway, what else can I tell you about this? I think that's about it. I'll get this all installed and torqued down, and I'll talk at you later. Adios.